Hello and welcome back to the Autobiography Podcast. Today, just another update, I guess. So, I wanted to talk a bit about not necessarily passion, but a drive. That's the one I'm looking for. What drives people? In particular, what drives me? So, as you know, if you've been following along on my social media or listening to these episodes of the podcast, I started the business of January 2026 this year, and I just dove in. I went head first and decided that I was going to run my own business because you only live once, and it's been a passion of mine for so long, and I just love doing what I do. And they say, and as the saying goes, do what you love and you never work a day in your life. And that is, I can't thank everybody for the support I've received. I started this year with less than, I think in total across all my social medias, less than like 2,000 followers or subscribers or whatever the platform calls it. And now Instagram is 6.4, I believe, 6.4 thousand. Instagram is 6.4. Facebook is slowly getting up there. I think it's 180. Facebook is a weird number and weird statistic for looking at social media. TikTok, I think we're verging on the 2,500 mark, so amazing. And YouTube is, I believe, as of this morning, it was like 1.1 thousand, so absolutely incredible. So I cannot thank everybody enough for your support and everybody that's come along on this journey of burning madness. But social media is the weakness of my mindset of going full time and doing burning and the business. It is a weakness, not because people are negative, not because it's a drain on me and like, oh, I've got to make sure that I'm getting enough likes, enough comments. It's not people. It's not the people. It's my own mindset. It's my own brain going, you're not doing enough. You're not putting out good enough content. And I'm not pointing finger at anybody. I'm simply saying that that's just a tip for anybody that's looking just to start social media. Not necessarily start your own business, not as far as that, because obviously in my line of work, it's and I have realised this recently, it's one of the most strange businesses to go into, because you're not necessarily restricted, but the way you advertise and the way you sell, and it's harder to upsell yourself or put adverts out of like, enter this competition or enter this draw each month and win a pack of XYZ. Well, as an artist, you can't really do that because you're limited to how many works you can make. So I could do a draw of prints each month, but having it being limited edition, it's like restricted, and I don't have 12 designs. If I did have 12 designs, I might do a draw of each print, or if I did one-offs, but at the moment I don't have enough prints. So using that sort of, not necessarily bait, but using that sort of hook to hook people in and explore the website doesn't quite work yet. And I don't think most artists are able to do that, but I guess there comes a certain point where you're able to do it, but is it financially, sustainable enough? But what I really wanted to talk about was motivation, whether it's starting your own business or, going into, starting your own business, or just doing something, whether that's going to, saving up to buy a house, or, starting a new relationship, starting a new job, starting a business. I know I've said that multiple times now, but it's having that self-belief and that self-motivation. But where does that self-motivation come from? Is it watching loads of TikTok videos of, motivational videos? And do you actually use that motivation to go and do the thing? I didn't really realise at the time, and on self-reflection now of like recent weeks, and particularly recently, past couple of days, because recently I've been like stuck in my head and constantly sort of not necessarily spiraling, but if I don't have like a particular, not necessarily particular, but if I don't have a this, and this needs to be done by X date, and then XYZ, my brain just goes, oh, we could do this, 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 and then it's also, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Even though I've put things in place, like at the moment, I'm spiraling on how I'm going to record tutorial videos. And don't get me wrong, I really want to do them. I have a passion for pyrography, and to teach pyrography would be an honour. But it's not that I don't have belief in my ability to do pyrography or my ability to record the videos, but it's, am I planning too much? Am I writing the same notes over and over again? And then it's, okay, when am I going to record the videos? And then it's, well, do I record videos and then do voiceovers, or do I like essentially write a book and then do videos to go along with the book? And my brain just spirals and spirals and spirals. And I don't know whether it's just me or whether it's, and I hate using it as an excuse, but I've done it all my life and just gone, no, I don't want to put it on this. I think it might be the autism of like the impulsiveness of do this. And I get moments where I'm like, okay, just step back, breathe. Okay. What do I need to do? How am I going to do this? Because if I don't get it under control and I just let it spiral, I get absolutely, completely and utterly burnt out and just cannot function. And then I'm essentially white-knuckling creativity, white-knuckling trying to get through a day, and it's just completely pointless because whatever I do while I'm white-knuckling, it is just pointless. And so I'm either getting frustrated at the fact that I'm unable to do work, or if I'm not working, I'm spending the whole time not working thinking about work. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people out there who can relate to it's not necessarily an unhealthy obsession, but my job was a hobby that I did as a way of relaxing, as a way of like not necessarily self-soothing, but as a way of just calming and draining stress away. I get lost in my own world, and having started to run a business, I knew that I was going to have to do a lot of works that not necessarily is my whole heart and soul. And don't get me wrong, every commission I enjoy doing, and it's an honour and a privilege, and I will always, if I will find a way of accepting every commission I can, but there are limits, and I am finding that I have to start saying no, because I can't accept projects anymore that I'm unable to do. I don't have confidence in myself to do. I can put it on a list of things to practice and try and do, but at some point it becomes well, you can accept that. It's going to look like dog shit, and then you're going to feel like shit trying to, essentially selling it to them. Or you can explain, that's not my skill set. I don't feel comfortable taking your money. I apologise. And it's just the reason why I started the business, I think, not only because I struggled in a standard workplace. My first ever job was working in a vet's. I wanted to be a vet for a good... When did I start watching the Yorkshire Vet? Probably about 6. Easily 10 years. 10 years I wanted to be a vet. I slowly drifted to maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not going to make it that high up in education. And I was fine with that because I'm not a textbook learner. I'm a practical learner. That's why self-teach myself pyrography was easier than doing classwork, because it was just like, okay, we'll just burn this way. Oh, okay, burn it a bit dark. I held it a bit long. Practical learning. I never got there. So I was like, okay, downgrade to nurse. And I never actually got to that stage of being like, yeah, I actually want to work in this environment. It was just, I enjoyed working with the animals, but it was just a lot of extra stress, and it wasn't the balance of enjoyment to stress and unable to cope was not enough to make it worth the stress. So I left that job after 3 years. I, I think it was 6 months after I left school, I started working at the vets because I needed work experience for college, and they were so pleased with the way I was working that they went, okay, did you want to do one paid day and then one work experience day for college for the hours? And I was like, yeah, please. And then left college after a year and just upped my days after another 2 years, so a total of 3 years. I just couldn't cope anymore. I was getting to work and just sitting there like, right, psyching myself up, ready for the day, and it just wasn't healthy. It just wasn't worth the payout, and it took me a whole day to recover from the amount of stress for 4 days. I couldn't work a 5-day week, and it was just like, Christ. And then got a job at a retail shop, worked there for a year. About 6 months in, that's when the probably biggest event of my entire life happened. Having gone through so many years of just beating myself up for not being able to fit in and just cope at school. I only had one person and that was my mum. So essentially she went in, she had to April 2025, she she was rushed to hospital because she just was unable to move and like function, and she was there for a couple of days. Turns out she had sepsis, so they had to rush her into emergency surgery, and unfortunately she didn't pull through. And from that day onwards, having lost that one person that sort of supported me and guided me through not necessarily every challenge, but yeah, assisted me through, like guided me through as much as she could, and allowed me to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, but also pick me back up and be like, okay, brush you off, let's send you back out. But also alongside that, like, it's not your fault. You can't help the fact that you think that way, but you need to learn that not everybody's going to understand this, like understand your way of thinking, and you need to not necessarily need to reframe the way you think, but think before you speak, and just generally adapt the way you try and fit in as best you can, but don't lose being yourself. And having lost that pillar of support, I didn't realise how much it was going to affect me, and only in the past couple months have I realised that the reason why I put so much pressure on myself is because the only person I'm not necessarily trying to impress, but trying to show that I am able to do it, and I could start my own business. Look, I've started my own business, and I'm able to, I'm able to manage this, and I'm learning from making more and more mistakes, and I'm doing this all by myself, and not that I'm like, look at me, I'm doing an amazing job, I need a pat on the back, gold star, but it's just like not necessarily proving myself, but just like I can do this, and it's okay that you're not here. I think that's why I allow myself to put so much pressure on myself because there's no one there to go, okay, maybe you need to just take a step back. I'm allowed to sort of just keep going because there's no one there to go, okay, maybe you need to take a break, or maybe you need to just stop for the day. I don't know, but that's what motivates me, is trying to not prove myself, but prove to myself, but also build up enough evidence to show that I am worthy of running my own business. I am worthy of not having to work for someone and work for myself and make my own money. Build a life by myself without guidance, without that pillar of support. Because the only person, and as horrible as it's going to sound, the only person I wanted to prove anything to was my mum. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing. My dad is a massive pillar of support, and has been amazing since mum died. Not that he wasn't before, but it's a different relationship. I think most people can relate to this. You sort of build a much stronger relationship with one parent than the other, but you have a relationship with both parents. So I don't know. I didn't think I was going to cry this much. Christ, I didn't even think I was going to cry. So I think that's what motivates me, is trying to prove, not necessarily just to that one pillar of support, my mum, but prove to the world that I am worth putting this amount of effort in. But it's keeping control of pushing yourself, having that sort of, not necessarily support you network, but having something there to just stop you from like burning yourself out and just pushing yourself to the point of collapse, of unproductiveness, of just completely white knuckling. And the reason I keep talking about white knuckling and stuff is because recently I've just been spiraling, because I obviously, it being my first year of business, and I've never had this amount of commissions because I've never had so much, not necessarily attraction, but so much traffic on my social media. Like I said, I started this year with less than 1,000 followers across all my platforms, and now I'm over 10,000 across all of them. I think nearly 10,000. I don't think it's over 10,000. But with the increase in traffic and comments and likes, and not that I don't pay any attention to likes. It's more, what I pay attention to is comments and unfortunately recently unfollows. I just try and keep an eye on that. But it's comments and the amount of views and how much people enjoy my content. If people aren't enjoying it, then it's a complete waste of time. Yeah, if people aren't enjoying the content, then there's no point in making it. But of recently, due to getting a mini mic, I know this is the big one. My content, I hate blowing smoke up my own arse, but my content for like the daily videos and voiceovers, I know I've only done one voiceover at the moment. Boy, can I see the difference! Like, there's something about having that mic there that gives me a confidence of, like, not necessarily being like a news reporter, but like I feel like I necessarily belong here, and like this feels right and natural. Like just holding the mic, talking about my work, and then buggering off. But with that increase, it's obviously an increase of people saying, "Oh, that's great," and you should do tutorials. The more people say you should do tutorials, the more my brain goes, well, fuck doing biographies. You need to get on with the tutorials. And I'm like, nope. But that's because my brain's unable to focus, because at the moment I'm in between doing commissions, and due to the increase in the hours of productiveness, my brain's focusing on due to the increase in productiveness, I didn't realise how quickly I was going to be doing biographies and like getting through commissions. And I'm like, oh, good God, I'm like 3 months ahead on commissions. And it's like, okay, maybe not just go straight onto the commission and, try and get them all done, but let's focus on this. And I've sort of gone off on a tangent a bit, and my brain's like, okay, well, let's just focus on this then for a couple of months. And it's like, no, I need to get back to this. And it's too much weaving in between things. And I've started just like last night, I was just like, yeah, okay, 6 o'clock, let's go. Let's pack up shop. I need to just rest. I was just, exhausted. I don't think that's necessarily stress, but I enjoy that. I enjoy that feeling of, like, I'm tired. I'm tired out from today. It gives me a feeling of success and, like, not to say self-worth, but a feeling of, like, this is what I want. I want that feeling of stress and pressure, but it's pushing myself to the point of too much stress, too much pressure, and too much stress that it's negative stress, negative pressure, and it's there's a line of like not enough work done, feel like shit. Enough work done, feel alright. A lot of work done, a lot of stress and pressure, but I like it. I enjoy it because it's like David Bowie once said, go into the deep end, you drown. Shallow end, you're not working, you just stood there, pootling along. But just having, just treading water, beautiful. Because you're challenged enough that you're under stress, but if it gets a bit too deep, you come back in a little. And then you're just far enough from safety that you could drown, you could fail, but you could step back, take a minute in the shallower end. You're still at neck height. You're still treading a little bit of water, but you can put your tiptoes down, take a breather, and then step back out. I love that pressure. I think, though, at the moment, I've pushed myself too far out, and I'm not allowing myself to come back in, because I'm like, nope, you will keep treading that water, and I don't want... My biggest fear, and I don't hate to admit it, my biggest fear is not making enough money. I don't give a shit about money. I hate the idea of being rich and fame. Like, fame and fortune is the last thing I look for in the business. Absolutely. That's why I struggled with where do I want to go with the business, because the concept of money gets involved, and I'm like, I don't care about money. You can offer me £1 million to do a commission. If I don't feel comfortable doing the commission, I'll turn it down. But it's the fact that you need enough money to run the business. You need enough money to buy things. So hating the concept of money isn't great for business, but I've always been relatively quite good with, trying to not spend too much, but making sure I spend enough. And obviously my dream being to just live the Mexican fishing life of go out in the morning, fish, get enough fish to support my family, have a rest, have an afternoon sleep, play with the kids, then in the evening go into town and play the guitar with the locals, and then come home and spend some time with the wife, and then go to sleep and repeat. Just a nice, relaxed life. The life that people dream of having once they've got enough money to support that. People build and build and build to then go back to square one. But if you're able to build enough that you can stay in square one, and that's what you want to do, why not stay there? It's not necessarily safety. You've reached the dream. You've reached that goal. It's just maintaining it. At the moment, I haven't reached my goal, but then that's because am I trying to build an empire to then realize that, oh shit, I had exactly what I wanted 10 years ago, but I didn't see it. So push yourself enough that you're stepping. Push yourself enough that you're treading water. Don't push yourself enough that you're going to cause yourself to drown and have to start all over again. And find your motivation. I'm not saying kill your parents, because both my parents aren't dead, so I'm not Batman quite yet. But find what motivates you and just fucking nail it. Go for it. Doesn't have to be a death. Does help. I will say personally, it's, and I am making a joke about that because that's how I find my humour. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Get used to it. These I keep the podcast. I will keep it to the podcast. I will try and not spread it across all my content, but I'm not going to apologise for. I will apologise for jokes that are really inappropriate, but that's my sense of humour. It's very dark. So find your motivation. It doesn't have to be a dead parent. It can be the dream goal of, personally, having a cabin. If I can have a wife and kids, that would be the ultimate. Like, I could, if I had, if I had the land, brilliant. If I had a wife, even better. To be a father, that's like my ultimate goal. But if I can just have a land and a staffy, fine. Land and a wife, bliss. Wife, cabin, kids. I could die a happy man. Shoot me. You cannot destroy. You can't give me anything more than that. Okay, here's £1 billion. Come work for us. No, I got my wife at home on the cabin. With the cabin on the land. No, get fucked. Even if it's just the cabin and staffy, that's fine. Or if it is as little as this cabin here, working from home, then yeah, so be it. I'm lucky enough to have a dream and a goal that's not small enough that it's just pathetic, but I enjoy the simple things. A nice fresh bowl of fruit is just, I have a very, very, and this is my mum's fault, expensive taste. I have the most expensive taste, but as you can see, ripped shorts, crappy shirt, I don't give a shit. I can enjoy the most expensive things, and I do enjoy it, but I'm not bothered by it. If I didn't have lights and if I didn't have money, I wouldn't care. As long as I had my pyrography, as long as I'm able to express my passion of the natural world and playing with fire, I don't care. Because if I look like shit while I'm doing it, I don't care. As long as I can be presentable at fairs and markets or sell online, then so be it. I'll obviously look a bit more presentable when I'm around other people, but I've gone off on a tangent yet again. If you're watching these and you're expecting some flow, you're in the wrong place. You clearly haven't been watching very long. So to summarise what I've been getting at here, because I don't know how long I've been going, and I do go off on a million and one tangents. As horrible as it is, my motivation has been the loss of 3 dogs. I know that that's a bit random, and I've been talking about my dead mum, and I'm not here for sympathy. Do not get me wrong. I'm not looking for sympathy at all. I'm just simply stating that since she died, I feel like I've been motivated to just get on with life, because it's a reminder that life is just as easily given as it is taken, and the Grim Reaper can come any day, in any form. So, take life by the balls and just fucking go for it. Because why the fuck not? If you're able to do something, if you're able to, whether you're 20 years old like myself, I am 20. I don't know why my brain's like a when I was 10, I forgot how old I was. I was like, oh, I'm fucking 8. No, I'm not. I'm 10. Weird. Anyway, take life by the balls. Whether you're 20 years old and you're living at home, gives a shit. If you can start a business and then move out, or even better, get your parents to move out, buy them a nice house, keep the house they've got. Why not? You don't have as much, unless obviously that it's obviously circumstantial. The younger you are, the less responsibility you have. Granted, yes, you've got less money, but in this day and age, you have the internet, you have your phone. It's as simple as making videos, trying your absolute best. Whether that's art, whether that's music, I know that's an art form. Whatever it is, as long as it's legal as well, don't be doing drugs and just ridiculous shit. Don't get me wrong. I mean productive stuff that can not only benefit you, but benefit others. That's why I love what I do, because I love making works of art, because it's my passion, it's my heart and soul. But to hear people comment or review or email and say how much they enjoy a piece, or love the way it flows, or they enjoy the piece as much as me, but when they also reflect exactly not exactly, but they can see the heart and soul that's gone into it from their perspective. It's just the best thing in the world. It makes it worth the stress and the hassle of doing pieces I might not want to do, or I'm in the mindset of doing safari, and a pet portrait comes in, and I'm like, I love pet portraits, and I hate the fact that I'm in a safari mood, but I'll do the pet portrait because it's going to make someone extremely happy. So whether you're 20 years old and you might not have the money, but you have every opportunity. Okay, yes, you might be working a 40-hour week to get as much money as possible to start that business or start that career. And you might be exhausted. But why the fuck not put, even if it's 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day, every week. 7 hours, that's 7 hours a week. 28 hours a month. Record yourself for 10 minutes, half an hour. That's 50 to half an hour. That's 50 minutes to 30 to 50 minutes of that hour, editing that video, publish it. That's 1 hour a day. If you want to do 1 hour, 1 hour a week, because 40-hour weeks, that's fucking long. You might have 2 days off. Okay, take the morning to record and edit, or a couple hours in the afternoon to edit. Come up with ideas Saturday, record Sunday and edit it Sunday. If you're doing what you love, it's not going to be as stressful, it's not going to be as tiring. I will admit, yes, I stress myself out with trying to make content and trying to make sure that I put out good enough content, and at the moment, obviously, I'm overcomplicating it, and I will look at it and go, okay, well, why don't you just do this, and then make shorts from the long content, or make long content and then use that long content to get snippets from that long video and make a short video. So I'm still making 2 videos, but I'm using the long video to get ideas to make a short video. It's as simple as that. And if you're 50 years old, you might have you might have a mortgage, you have kids, you have people to support. But it's a similar situation of can you put a little bit of time aside? You could get the kids involved, or if they're old enough to sort of look after themselves, or put some time aside. Because, yes, being young is the best time, the best place, and you are not necessarily more likely to succeed, but you are probably statistically, I haven't looked it up, more likely to succeed. But look at all the famous people that did things when they were older. The Colonel for KFC, I think he was in his 60s when he found it. Took him, I think he's tried to start it like over 100 times. Might have even been more than that. He was in his 60s when it took off. Walt Disney, I think he was in his 50s. Steve Jobs, I believe, was like 40, 50 when Apple started. Like, anything is possible if you put the time and the effort in. So, find that motivation. Also, find the motivation to start. Push. And when you get to the point where you feel like you're going to give up because you're absolutely burnt out, reflect on what you've achieved, analyse and go, okay, maybe I don't need to do this, or reduce these down, increase this. It's reanalyzing every so often when you get to the point, not necessarily when you get to the point of being burnt out, but personally that's where I'm at the moment of, okay, I've pushed myself way too much too long and I'm just tired. Not of the job, but tired just in general. So, I know I'm trying to summarise here and I've done a really shit job of it, haven't I? Find your motivation. I don't care how old you are. If you can put that time aside. I'm going to try that one again. Find your motivation. It doesn't have to be a dead parent. It can literally just be the fact that you're passionate. Like, your heart and soul is in whatever it is. That could be art. It could be a job. It could be a dream house. Find that passion. Find a way of trying to achieve it. Whether that is starting a business. Whether that's saving money. Whether that's getting a better job to save more money. Or starting a business that can evolve and adapt into getting you that house. Whatever it is. Find that passion. Use it. Take life by the balls. Fucking go for it. But find your limit and then build a structure around that limit so that you don't surpass that limit and burn yourself out to a point where you give up. Because the more times you burn yourself out to give up, the more you allow your brain to go, well, you're not good enough, or you're not going to achieve it. So why carry on? Why bother? Because trust me when I say, the first 2 months of me starting the business and not getting very far, I was like the lowest I've ever felt. Because I'm like, I have nothing. I'm not getting any traction from anything. And it's just completely pointless. And then one video that I threw together because I was rushing to do something. I think I tried to record it in the morning and I was like going out to do something. So I just quickly recorded the video like normal, whacked it on my socials, and then went off. And now it's got over 100,000 views on Instagram and just an unholy amount of traction. And that's how the business is taken off, from that one video of me jumping into shot, showing a piece of wood, explaining what I did, why I do it, thanking people, and then fucking off again. I didn't ask people to go to my website. I might have said there was a link in the bio, but at that time I was like, if you don't want to, don't, because you don't feel pressured. And now I'm like, no, go to the website. It's free. Help me out. Just quit with the dopamine scrolling, doom scrolling. Help a little artist out, right? Just check it out. Don't have to buy anything, just check it out. If you do want to check out the website, link in the bio to www.ndbiographies.co.uk. just saying, it's got a new look. I've changed some colours, and I probably will be updating it because it does look a bit naff. But anyway, find your motivation and take life by the balls, because you never know. It might take a day, it might take a year or two. Put some time aside to do it. If it takes off and you feel comfortable, you may have pushed it. You may have been able to start 6 months prior. When you feel uncomfortable, but it's when you feel. It's a weird way of weird wording. It's not necessarily when you feel most uncomfortable, but it's when you feel discomfort in taking that leap is exactly when you need to take that leap. If you don't feel like it's all going to be possible, might be a bit early to take that leap. I didn't feel anything. I just was like, fuck it. I'll give it a year. I have the money to support pay for the bills, pay for everything that needs paying. I am going to white knuckle everything. Not necessarily white knuckle creativity and, gotta do it. I am doing that currently and I need to take a step back. But not necessarily because I watched loads of motivational videos, but I watched enough videos and listened to enough motivational speakers and people who have been successful and gone, yeah, they have a point. It takes one viral video, and it did. It took one viral video to get the business off the ground. I now fear losing that not because I'm obsessed over money, but because I need the money to pay for the bills. As long as I can pay the bills, I do not care how much more money I make, because that money will just go into the account to buy more wood. The more money I make, the more wood I have. And the more wood I have, the more ideas I get. And the more ideas I get, the crazier things are going to get. So if you could buy a greeting card, that would be amazing. If you would be interested in a commission, that would be amazing. But don't feel pressured, because any support is amazing. Just checking out my profile, just checking out the website and going, mate, you got a typo here, or amazing stuff. Would you be open to doing XYZ commission? Or you could tweak it a bit here, tweak it a bit there. I'm not saying I need 1,000,001 people going, okay, you're a twat, let's fucking make a list of shit you've done wrong. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for little tips and tricks of the trade and, what people are looking for. I know tutorials. I was hoping to do as much as I could this week, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to, because that at the moment is tackling my brain, and I need to focus on burning, focus on doing stuff. Also, the resin, if you follow me on social media, you know about the resin table that went fucking everywhere. Has played on my mind a bit. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with those 2 bits of wood. I'm probably going to go down the route of chopping it into 4 pieces, sanding the edges down, making it look pretty, and trying to sell them. Because it's 4 decent pieces, but like I said in the video when I was talking about it, who's going to want to buy a bear and an ape, a bear and an ape, and then a cow and a lion? Kind of doesn't work. But 4 individual pieces could work. So, if you've watched to the end, thank you very much. And I do apologise for my mayhem. I'm not going to apologise for my emotions, because I love what I do, and I hate the idea of losing it. But if I lose it, I'll have to go and get a job to pay the bills, but I will carry on. I will carry on doing pugfree. I will try and run this business until my last breath. If it kills me, it kills me. I'll die doing what I love. I may not achieve everything I want to achieve in life, but I'll fucking die trying, because at the end of the day, I don't see any point in life than burning wood. Burning animals and wood is my passion, it's my love, and it's my heart and soul. And it brings me so much joy to be a fool on the internet. And if my stupid videos like this can motivate people to not necessarily start their dream job, but just turn their foot towards thinking about doing something productive, then that is just amazing. Because why the fuck not? If I have to sit here every week and talk about, oh, my mum's dead, and it motivates me so much, and it motivates someone, so be it. I'm not gonna, go into every single nitty gritty detail of my life, because I would try and keep some level of personal privacy. That's the word I was looking for. But I'm not gonna lie. That's probably what's motivated me. I'm not 100% certain, but that's because I just dove straight in. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Give it a year, give it 12 months, and at the moment, I'm not finishing anytime soon. I may not sell a lot of original works. I may not sell a lot of original works, greeting cards and fine art prints at the moment. But I'm a new business. People need to, be like, all right, he started in January. Let's see where he's at. The prices will be going up in July, because I do not charge enough. And I've been told this by many artists on Instagram, and many customers have said, yeah, your prices are really low. It's kind of concerning. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I've got 2 markets this year. I'm hoping to get a third one booked in, but I've got a really big one, the Game Fair. I'm not 100% sure where it is. It's in the London area. So if you've heard of the Game Fair because it's in your region, I will see you there. I'm got a small 3x3 meter, and I'll see you there. I'll say hello, shake your hand, bid you good day, wish you all the best. But yeah, and then I've got some more local ones, or a local one. But yeah, this year is not markets and fairs. It's figuring out how to run the business. Next year is okay, good year, hopefully. Let's knuckle down, figure out complete year structure. I have a plan for next year, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a few pieces of wood that I've just knuckling down on the final designs, and I'm probably going to use those for, sanding those down and maybe doing a bit of burning on them for the tutorial videos, but I'll figure it out. I've put some time aside at the end of the year for doing tutorials, but God knows if I'm actually going to use it for that, or whether I'm just going to do the tutorials when I get a free day or free afternoon to make notes. Or rambling on. I was supposed to be wrapping this up, wasn't I? So, find your motivation. Find your motivation. Take life by the balls. When you feel just a little uncomfortable with the idea of jumping, fucking take that jump. Because at the end of the day, if you're able to be in a position where you're like, oh, I don't know, shall I do it? You're close enough that you should just fucking do it. If it's not going to kill you and put anyone in danger, what have you got to lose? Because at the end of the day, if you've got 10 million followers that you're worried you're going to look a fool in front of, why are they following you? If 10 million people turn around and go, oh, you tit munch, or, you fucking failed, why are they following you? Also, you've got 10 million people responding. I'm going to say that that's monetization level of content, monetization traffic. Make some money off of that negativity. Granted, yeah, you might feel like dog shit, but message me. We'll have a chat, work together, and you might sell stuff. I can make you a wooden box case or something. Because if you've got 10 million people following you, you're going to have at least 1 million people supporting you. Just focus on those 1 million. The other 9 million, fuck off. That's my attitude. The negative people can just fuck off. And there's a lot of swearing in this one. I do apologise for anyone that doesn't like swearing, but I do try and hold back on the swearing as much as I can. So, thank you for watching this far. Go have a drink, not of anything too strong. Go have a glass of water because your head is going to be hurting after this because I have rambled on like mental. So, thank you for watching. I bid you good day. Check out the website, link in the bio, www.ndparkofees.co.uk. Share with a friend because why not? They love animals. They love wood burning. Why not? Also, I'm hoping to get the tutorials out as early as I can, but it probably will be at the end of the year. If not, I will let you know as soon as possible because I really want to get them done. I really want to put them out. Not because of monetization. I probably will not charge for these. I will probably just put them on YouTube. Whether it's going to be one really long video and then I break it down into sections, or one really long video and then lots of like shorts. I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure that one out. That's why this week has been an absolute headache because I'm still trying to figure out the tutorials that I'm going to be doing at the end of the year. That is just my brain. It is just trying to kill me by running this business. But it's my passion that stops me from going, just give up, mate. Just fucking get a job. Don't stress. Stop running your own business. Get someone else to run a business and then just work for them. No. I love what I do. Why would I spend more time away from that? I'm building my life around this beautiful feeling of joy and stress. I love the joy and I love the stress. And I'm building a life around it. And I hope to find someone that can appreciate that and maybe even have that in their life, who has a passion. It doesn't necessarily have to be art. It would be amazing to have a partner that loves art. Maybe not pyrography, but if they were a pyrographer, boy, oh boy, would my work probably get better because they'd probably be really good at backgrounds and foregrounds. And then I could be like, love, if I did like a bear, could you do a background? Yeah. I don't know why she's got a deeper voice than me. Yeah, I could do that. I'm not doing a high pitch voice, get stuffed. That'd be amazing. But having not necessarily because I've watched videos, but right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to stop jibber jabbering. I bid you good day. Wish you all the best. Thanks for sticking around this long. Check out the website. Cheers.